Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need if you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother, Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
And joining us virtually once again is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, man?
It's fine, Daniel.
Wow. I rarely get called Daniel unless I'm in trouble or something. So, yeah, it always takes me by surprise when I hear that.
It's true.
And by the way, I'm so happy that you and I did not end up wearing matching T-shirts tonight. So, Richard is wearing a purple Macho Man shirt, which you can get over at WWEshop.com. And actually, I've been doing laundry all day, and I found mine, and I was like, oh, I should probably wear this. But then I was like, nah, it's Elimination Chamber Day. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the start of Kofi Mania. So I found my Kofi.
It was between that and this.
What's
so.
that? Sister Abigail. Oh,
wow.
Bray Wyatt one. Nice.
That's a
That's
rare one.
It is. It's based off of a Nightmare on Elm Street poster.
Oh, that's really cool. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Hey, it's Elimination Chamber Day. Kofi Mania started around this time 2 years ago. Let me put on my Kofi Mania shirt that I got in New York a couple years ago.
You saying that right now just made me think to myself that you are the Byron Saxton of this podcast.
Why? Why? Because he loved
Power of positivity, right, Dan?
Yeah,
exactly.
you're like a go rah type kind of guy.
And Tommy and I are like the Samoa Joe of the podcast.
Just sit there, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We'll chime in once in a while.
Yeah.
Or usually me. Richard's more.
Give him a kiss.
My God. So, no, thank you again to all the Kliqsters for tuning in to a very special episode of In The Kliq. This is our Elimination Chamber recap and review. As always, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, a review as well. That helps out so much. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at In The Kliq.
And if you don't like the podcast, send your hate tweets over to BabyHuey83 on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, thank
just
you.
any of the posts, just leave negative comments, but like the post.
When you follow us on social media, click the link in our bio, get the merch over at Teespring. Or they changed their name. It's not technically Teespring anymore. It's a different name now. But you know,
but don't buy our shirts. Since they changed the name, send your hate tweets for the confusion over to at BabyHuey83 on Twitter and Instagram.
Damn you, Richard.
And send your D pics to at BabyHuey83 on Instagram.
Damn it. No, Grandma.
Have them all slide into his DMs.
Yeah, slide into his DMs.
Or if you have any questions, inthekliq@gmail.com as well. That's our go-to email for everything to interact with the Kliqsters out there. But yeah, here we are, man. Elimination Chamber 2021 is in the books now, and we are officially, well, we have already been on the road to WrestleMania for the last 3 weeks now since, I can't believe it, Royal Rumble was already 3 weeks ago. I don't know
That's
about
right,
you.
Byron.
Damn it. I'm going to get it. What? I'm going to hold up a 10 for Stone Cold when he comes out, drink a beer with him, and then he stuns
me. And then
me.
Tommy and I are going to both kick you in the balls and give you a double stunner.
Damn it. God damn it.
Right.
Let me tell you about Broken Skull Sessions. He is behind us. Stone Cold is behind us. The cardboard cutout of him
And
the figure
right there.
Yeah, we're all Stone Cold in this household, a lot of it, and Hulk Hogan stuff as well. But it's really interesting this time period, or this period of the year right now, as far as, like you said, the road to WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. Like, all of a sudden, like, Elimination Chamber was here. Like, I feel like the buildup was kind of very, quick. Like, as far as, I felt like it kind of rushed into this pay-per-view, and we already got Fastlane next month, then WrestleMania.
Be the same.
Yeah, so WrestleMania is 48 days away.
I know, I got the
countdown. So Fastlane is going to be, 2 weeks?
Before that, or I think, end of March, right? Or no, it's mid-March.
Mid-March?
Because of the Peacock deal, they were promoting that tonight, and that's supposed to be March 18th, I think, or
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
No one knows. No one knows, from what I understand.
But it's crazy. Like, Elimination Chamber in general, I like the pay-per-view. I like the stipulation of the match, the concept of it, which was interesting tonight. I think, didn't they acknowledge Triple H came up with it? But Eric Bischoff was the one who went on TV to present it. But for years, kayfabe-wise, it was Eric Bischoff's idea, right?
It is scheduled for March 21st is Fastlane.
Okay, yeah, Fastlane's coming up in, 4 weeks now.
And the Triple H thing was his counter to Vince not wanting to do War Games.
Is that what that was? The story behind Elimination Chamber?
So,
awesome. Okay. I like Elimination Chamber. It's unique in its own way as far as the structure. Have you guys ever stood inside one? I got to stand in one at Access one year.
No.
It's pretty cool just how big it is. And I always wonder, how many do they have built? Like, is the one at Access the same one they use at, like, these shows every year, the pay-per-view? Or do they have multiple ones? Or do they build a new one every few years? I would just love to know kind of the whole ins and outs of, as far as the structure of the Elimination Chamber and its whole existence of it. So, but yeah, no, man, I'm with you as far as, like, the build up to this. I felt like it felt very rushed. And so emotionally, I wasn't super, like, invested or excited for this show.
I'm still hungover from War Games last week.
Or Vengeance Day.
Takeover. Takeover. Nah.
So it's I mean, that's the thing too. We had, like, a big pay-per-view last weekend. Royal Rumble was a few weeks ago. So I just felt like, it was like, oh my God, Elimination Chamber's here. So, Tommy, I mean, you were telling me off the air just your thoughts about Elimination Chamber overall.
I was just bored watching it, quite honestly.
Really? Why is that?
I just felt a lot of the finishes were just bland, I thought.
Interesting. Richard, how about yourself? What's your kind of just initial takeaway from tonight's Elimination Chamber matchups?
I liked everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love everything. I liked everything. I thought the storytelling was spot on. I wasn't aware that we were getting Sasha and Bianca against Nia and Shayna. It was fine for what it was.
Yeah, that was a last-minute thing from SmackDown this week,
It was more so a TV match than a pay-per-view match, but I thought it was fine the way it was.
Yeah, so Elimination Chamber, it's I guess we'll just right out of the gates talk about what happened at the very end, because that's going to be what everyone's probably talking about right now, recording their respected shows. So yeah, we have a brand new WWE champion. It's The Miz. And he won it not by being in the Elimination Chamber match. He got it by cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase finally with the help of Bobby Lashley, who we saw earlier in the night as far as losing the U.S. title to Matt Riddle. And we'll talk about that matchup in a little bit and everything, the drama that happened before the show started today. But we saw MVP talking to The Miz backstage and looked like they were coming up with a game plan, a strategy. And yeah, we saw Bobby Lashley as the big enforcer, I guess, beat the crap out of Drew McIntyre after defeating everyone in the Elimination Chamber in the main event. And then Miz came in and cashed it in and won the championship. So, Richard, your thoughts on just that finish overall from Drew McIntyre winning the Elimination Chamber match. And you knew something was up because they weren't going off TV, the little thing in the corner, like, the copyright date. The chamber was being lifted, and the camera was still stuck on him. So I'm like, uh-oh, something's going on. And then, Miz came out. So, your thoughts on just how that all played out.
I was somewhat disappointed in myself that I didn't kind of put it 2 and 2 together when, like, Lashley lost the belt to. I just blanked on the Miz completely at the end of it, like when he was in the back with MVP. So I was just like, oh my god, this makes so much sense.
Yeah,
and then like I just got so into that main event because I wanted someone else to win it. And I mean, I can't be upset with Miz is not my favorite person, but I can't be upset with because honestly I don't know where they're taking us now.
Yeah,
that's always a fun place to be in where you can't predict.
Yeah, I mean, so if anything, I'm with you. Like Miz, you know, hey, humble brag, friend of the podcast, and he's been on a few times over the years. But but the way he's being booked over the last year, especially with Morrison back with him, he's been booked more as a comedy act and not taken so seriously. So I think a lot of people, based on like just looking on Twitter and stuff before we recorded tonight, a lot of people are frustrated, angry that he won. And I think partly it's just because of the way he's been booked and the perception of him currently as a WWE superstar.
It is a pay-per-view night, so how is that different than any other pay-per-view with wrestling fans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. But also think about it as far as I will admit, I think the last couple weeks he's been a little bit better, especially when Edge on Raw called him out and kind of gave him a big reality check as far as you have the Money in the Bank briefcase. You should be like, what's the word? A lot more vicious, you know, or that element of surprise, like how he used to be, Edge was, when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase back in the day. How, dude, you have a chance to be champion instantly. And so I think it kind of lit a fire under Miz's ass. And I think even like this past episode of Raw, he was a little more serious. And so character-wise, that initial interaction with Edge, I think, helped him a little bit and therefore made this ending of the pay-per-view a little more, like, I was kind of a little bit more okay with it, just because I knew, okay, he got the Money in the Bank briefcase back in December after losing it at TLC. So it was like, okay, he got a second chance with it. How they gonna make it worth it that when Adam Pearce gave it back to him? So it's like, is he really gonna win the championship at some point before the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view in May? So which will technically it will expire then. So I'm okay with this outcome based on the way he was being used the last couple weeks. But no, overall though, I can see why a lot of people are frustrated and upset about this. But
like me, I still think he has the worst finisher in the wrestling biz.
the skull crushing finale.
Yeah.
So
well, I can't complain about that because one of my favorite wrestlers used it. So
which one?
Double J.
Oh,
yeah.
The stroke.
Yeah.
But Jarrett did it better.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, let's just little fantasy book already. Like, where do we go from here if you're WWE? Obviously, Bobby Lashley dropped the U.S. title tonight. Is he going to be elevated now to the world title scene now?
I think so.
It definitely looks like that. And I think I think he's hit his stride finally. And I think
yes, I agree.
Part of that largely is with the Hurt Business, and I think we saw that as well in Impact. When he first went to Impact, he was kind of on his own, and he came back later as part of the Beatdown Clan with MVP and Kenny King and Samoa Joe. Bobby Lashley he's one of those guys that feels bigger when he's got guys with him, like Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett always had the roadie, he had Southern Justice, he had the coach, he had Deborah. And then when he's on his own, like that's when people really didn't like Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Same thing with, and Miz is the same way. The Miz Taraj, Miz and Morrison, Miz and Maurice. So it's like, you know,
sometimes you need those accessories around you to make you elevate you a little bit more.
Yeah, to be more validated.
So it's interesting what's going to happen next as far as, okay, I'm happy for Bobby Lashley as far as, if you really think about it, in the last 3 to 6 months, roughly, just off the top of my head, he's been booked very strong. He's been well protected. So I think it's like, okay, I think he is due now to be elevated to that main event scene, the world title picture scene. So how are we going to get there now? Listen, we're recording this on a Sunday night. We don't know. Maybe on Raw tomorrow night, Miz can easily drop the belt again.
Yeah.
We saw Randy Orton had barely 3 weeks before Drew got it right back.
Right.
Or who knows, just hypothetically speaking, maybe MVP and Miz, their deal was like, listen, I'll have my guy Bobby Lashley go out there and beat up Drew after going, a really tough, intense Elimination Chamber match. He's already tired and beat up. I'll grab my guy, go out there and beat the crap out of him even some more. Then you come in and make the steal there. So maybe in return, Bobby Lashley now gets a title shot against The Miz. Very similar to, remember, AJ and Miz back in December when they were working together. AJ and Miz said, like, yeah, we'll help each other out, but you got to promise me a title shot. Like AJ told Miz, I'll help you defeat Drew and cash in, but after that, you got to give me a title picture, match after. So it's interesting. I wonder if that's kind of a similar storyline they're going to go. So Bobby Lashley return for helping him out. He's going to get a title shot at some point, maybe at Fastlane. And then maybe Bobby Lashley wins at Fastlane, hypothetically speaking. And then Bobby Lashley and Drew can go at it at WrestleMania, and Drew can win the title at WrestleMania in front of a crowd, and therefore he gets a pop.
Maybe.
I kind of like where this is going. However, I do want to put this out there because we did not do a prediction thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because of me, people, not because of Danny, but you can hit me up, send your hate tweets to me at BabyHuey83 on Instagram.
Damn it.
So my thought kind of last minute is when we talked last week, we were trying to figure out where Edge was going to go towards WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of hard to when you look at the landscape based off of that rumor that it was looking like Finn Balor might have a match at WrestleMania, which I don't believe that report whatsoever, but if it happens, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I won't admit that I'm wrong, just like Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp and all those other losers that you people listen to and believe. But my thought kind of late in the game this week, and I was just kind of thinking about it, was like AJ Styles has not had a title belt in a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the greatest living active wrestler at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really dispute that unless you're blind and think that Jazz
Okada.
Hands is. Yeah, well, AJ's better than Okada and Jazz Hands. But I was thinking that AJ would get the win, and that would be because I know that Edge has always wanted to have a match with AJ.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And AJ and Edge would be the best possible match that Edge could get at a WrestleMania is what I was thinking. And if you look at that though, and you're kind of looking at, okay, well, where does that leave Drew? I think that you can have Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a non-title match at WrestleMania that would be pretty entertaining.
Okay,
like on paper, it seems like that. Okay. But like Sheamus this might be like one of his best years. Like he has, I don't know, like what he got healthy for all that time off.
Yeah.
But he's just been like on a different playing field lately. This like
totally. He put it on banger matches even right before he left SmackDown in the draft.
Yeah.
So in the last 6 months, he's been just doing incredible work. So I'm with you. I understand Sheamus has become such a legit fun guy to watch, no matter who he's up against. But Riddle and Drew McIntyre has been some great matches. Yeah,
and it's kind of that like the equivalent of like the Hogan versus Sid at Mania. It's like it's not a title match; it's just a feud.
Yeah.
So they're both kind of evenly matched guys, same kind of styles.
And it was built up, as a almost like it was like built up as like a title match in a way.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. So yeah, it would be interesting, but because I was thinking about that, title reigns and the significance of how long someone's title reigns is and what that means for them. Because this week Walter became the longest NXT UK champion. That's just because that's on top of my head right now. And he passed Pete Dunne. And granted, part of that title reign, he was sitting at home during the whole pandemic. So it's like there was a lot of days he didn't have a chance to defend it. And
well, you can look at it that way, but you could also look at it that if he wasn't a good enough champion, he would have lost the belt before the pandemic.
Yeah, true. But what I'm getting at is like, Drew McIntyre, I was like, here we are, February, and he won it back in April. And then other than that 3-week time span that Randy Orton had, he's been champion for the better part of almost 9 months. And
more.
Yeah. So I'm just, what I'm getting at is like, is Drew McIntyre going to be away from the WWE Championship for a while now just because he already had it for so long? Or is this another short period where he's not going to have the title and then he'll eventually get it back at WrestleMania and then he'll have it for another significant period of time? So I'm really trying to understand. It's like, did we ever get the best of it?
No. I think we've just scratched the surface. I think that they want him to win the belt again in front of people.
Yeah.
So if that's a sacrifice that we all have to kind of make, like even if, because right now we don't know 100% that people are going to be at WrestleMania, right?
I mean, the goal is, I think
the goal,
20 to 25,000. Yeah, they haven't sold tickets yet. It was gone on sale because I think they're still trying to figure out the whole infrastructure based on what the Super Bowl did. And then therefore, like the cardboard cutouts, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, and then the seating arrangement and all that. So,
you know what? Is this I don't watch football. Whatever. But is this a stadium that the ceiling can be closed?
It's outdoor.
I know it's outdoor, but
is it Raymond James Stadium is outdoors.
There's no like a roof, retractable roof.
No, not like a Hard Rock Stadium in Miami where it's like
retractable.
It's not retractable, but it's just
it's constantly open.
Yeah, it's open,
okay.
but it's got like a top to it, But
that's the one thing I think that's kind of a shame about this is that like you could trap the crowd noise easier in an indoor facility.
Oh, okay. So you're saying if there was a roof that they can make it louder even with a smaller crowd.
Yeah. Like even if they pepper in some crowd noise and make it feel louder, like the people that were in attendance would still be like, no, it was pretty loud in there.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is like, I hope over the last 10 months when Drew's been champion for the majority of that time, other than the 3-week period Randy Orton had the belt himself, I just hope that was not it for Drew McIntyre's WWE champion. I hope he becomes champion again in the near future. So I just hope
I mean, I don't think it is because I haven't heard anyone say that he's getting boring, he's getting stale. Like after a while with Kofi, like people were already saying who should beat Kofi. Like after he won the belt, like pretty early on, people were, maybe now they'll give Cesaro a chance, and maybe they'll give so-and-so a chance, maybe Ricochet. And it's just like, you didn't hear that with Drew. People want Drew to be the champion.
Yeah. So I just think, with that being said, I think the next, less than 2 months between now, Fastlane, and then from there, WrestleMania, I'm okay to be patient and ride it out and see how this all plays out. If the belt goes from Miz to maybe Bobby Lashley, then maybe Bobby Lashley to Drew at WrestleMania, I'm all for that. I just, like you said, I was just thinking about length of title reigns, and I always kind of wonder, because even like Adam Cole, he had the longest title reign in NXT. Now he wants the belt again. And I'm like, will he actually get the belt again, or will he just be moved up to Raw or SmackDown at some point? So I always get a little concerned when someone's coming off a very long title reign. Will they be rewarded again with another title shot? I mean, the reason I come up with this is not the 80s or the 90s where you only had one brand, one show, and the champion, that was it. We have multiple shows, multiple brands where you can be a champion here and here. So like your time as champion might be a little bit less because you're going to be moved over to somewhere else.
But that train of thought is Attitude Era train of thought. Because of the way Russo wrote the show. So like they would jump from champion to champion, and then post Russo, pre and post Russo is the real WWE.
Like a little bit longer title reigns. Yeah.
Attitude Era is the sign of the times era. Like,
so when Triple H in the Ruthless Aggression era was the world champion for a long period of time, that was a throwback for him. That whole time period for him was a throwback to NWA.
Yeah, but if you also look at it, they're not presenting it that way. their presentation of it is Bizarro World, where the 80s was heavy baby faces, right? And if a heel won the championship, they didn't have the championship that long. They were transitioning from Warrior didn't lose to Hogan. So Slaughter beats Warrior at the Royal Rumble. Hogan beats Slaughter at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the 2000s, Jesus, it's a majority heels, and that's fine because you've got the baby faces chasing. So you get Kurt Angle chasing heel Invasion Stone Cold, and then Kurt has the belt for a month, and then Austin gets it back.
Even Cena early on. The number of title reigns he had, obviously tied with Ric Flair, but I remember I saw some website years ago that said his title reigns were always very short.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's not about how many times you have the belt. To me, it's always about how many days you have the belt. That's what makes Bruno so important to the WWE. Yeah. And why Ric Flair is as great as Ric Flair is yes, he had it 16 times, but it's the amount of days that he had it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something when I was kind of worried, because I love Drew McIntyre as WWE champion, and the fact that he lost the title, I was like, I hope he gets it back again very soon. But then I'm like, well, do people like having baby faces with long title reigns? But as you said, I think some people are so used to heels having the longer title reigns. So, but as you said, the 80s, I was like, oh yeah, because Hogan had the belt for how long back in the 80s?
Yeah. But I think you also have to look at it as, is this person the champion because they need the belt or because the belt needs them? For instance, you have Brock Lesnar, and you have a brand new belt that people right off the bat did not like because it was red.
Yeah.
Which is a stupid reason not to like a belt.
Yeah.
And as soon as Brock had that belt, people stopped complaining because they're complaining that Brock had the belt.
The Universal one or the
the Universal title.
Yeah.
So and then Brock made that belt legitimate.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and this for Drew, what do you think then? Does he need the belt or the belt needed him? The WWE Championship.
I think right now with The Miz, the belt, or he needed the belt.
Yes.
He needed the belt probably a few years ago.
Yeah.
And because his stock, his stock rises with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're a one-time champion, that's great. And now you're a two-time champion, so you can't say that the first time was a fluke.
Yeah.
So, Drew, I think, is someone that needed the belt, but the belt also needed him. Because it was someone that everyone wants to be the champion, and now you've got something where how is he going to get back? Now, with SmackDown, the stories are better right now, right? Mm-hmm. Now you've got a story that people can get invested to on Raw, where how is Drew going to get his belt back?
Yeah, no, that's true. And that's probably why I'm going to tune in. I know a lot of people already on Twitter were like, "Oh, I'm not going to tune the Raw now. It's going to be a big ratings tune out."
Whatever, but they're still going to watch and act like that tweet never happened.
Exactly.
But it's also something that Bully Ray preaches on Busted Open is that when someone there's two ways of getting over in the business. You either get over or you got over. So if you lose, he lost the belt tonight. But he survived an elimination chamber with all former world champions that they kept hammering over. And it's not like...
And Bobby Lashley beat down.
He gets beat down by Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
And then he kicked out twice to The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
So
he really made himself over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got himself over.
All right. No, I'm glad we had this conversation. It was really good. It really kind of put me at ease a little bit because I was just worried about Drew McIntyre in 2021 for him. So
if anything, he looked stronger.
Yeah.
It took all that to beat him.
And I love in this chamber, he was kicking out at once still in the chamber match. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, we can totally go on and on about this, but yeah, let's go ahead and just jump in breaking down the show itself. So
I also want to say that the reason why they kept, I just heard this, I think it was on Something to Wrestle With. It could have been a different podcast, but the reason they kept putting the belt on Brett was because they wanted to hammer home that this is not Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes you might think, that's John Cena, that's Randy Orton, they're their guys. So now you've got Drew. Drew is now one of their guys. He's one of those guys that they trust. So you're not beating Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton so easily, or in these great matches, and they don't trust him anymore. And he is the WWE champion of 2020.
Yeah,
like an entire calendar year, he's the man.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, no,
Eddie Guerrero had it for a couple months.
Yeah,
and people regard him as one of the best ever WWE champions.
I know he had No Way Out, and then
WrestleMania.
He had those awesome JBL matches.
Yeah. God, I still think. I mean, I keep throwing this out there. If we have more time, I would love to do maybe as a Patreon thing and bonus episodes and review the whole Ruthless Aggression era, maybe the big pay-per-views or something. Just like I said, that's such a time period that I was so busy with college and I wasn't watching regularly. So the SmackDown 6, I really would love to review that era, what those guys were doing, because seeing the stuff that you post on your Instagram is wow, that seems like such an amazing time period in wrestling. So
let's challenge our listeners. You guys get your friends to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
And if we can get up to 300 people that listen to this podcast, we'll start a Patreon.
Okay, there we go. I like that. Very good call. Good call. So going into Elimination Chamber, there's a lot of concerns about Keith Lee and his status, because he was gone for a week or two, then he showed up 1 week, and he was off again TV. So there's a lot of people questioning what's going on. I mean, I know Mia Yim a couple weeks ago went on Twitter and said she had COVID, and obviously we know they're engaged now. So a lot of people were concerned about Keith Lee's status as far as he's not been on TV and trying to put two and two together. And then it came out today, I think Mike Johnson was the one from PW Insider reported that he has a legit injury. He is out today. He didn't show up to the arena. And so last minute, they had a qualifier match on the kickoff show between John Morrison, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet and Elias. And the winner would then move on into the United States triple threat match along with Bobby Lashley and Riddle. I actually tuned because I was I was thinking that match wouldn't happen till the very end of the kickoff show. So I was I'll wait till 3:30 to tune in, and I tuned on and never had the match going on. I was damn. So I caught the tail end of it. John Morrison won. He got a roll up on Mustafa Ali and was inserted into the match, which I was okay, cool. John Morrison, we're all big fans of. I think he's due for some sort of push and maybe get out of the Miz's shadows a little bit. So he won, and then he was moved up into the triple threat match for which we'll get into in 1 second. The main show kicked off with the Elimination Chamber match for the Universal Championship, so featuring all the SmackDown guys. I was kind of surprised that they were going to kick off the show with it, but I guess it makes sense. Start it with one and then end with one, so kind of nice bookends there. But man, this match, I enjoyed it. It went over almost about 35 minutes overall. But yeah, Richard, what's some of your takes from this opening Elimination Chamber match?
I'm going really back and forth on what they're. I think Cesaro right now is being tested.
Yeah.
I think more so than we've seen in the past, more so than a one-off match that he's had with John Cena on Raw or something He's getting some spotlight right now. Yeah, definitely getting some opportunities. And I thought his in-ring shined pretty damn bright tonight. From the moment that he was hanging from the top of the...
doing the pull-ups. I was that's awesome. That was so cool.
There's it reminded me, there's a cage match from WCW where... it's Terry Funk and the Great Muta against Flair and someone else.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. This was Halloween Havoc 89.
Yes, and it's got the roof.
Yes, I've seen that one.
For some reason, Funk starts climbing the cage, trying to climb out, but it's got a roof. So yes, it was. It was Sting. Flair and Sting against Muta. So I was wondering, where's Sami Zayn going? And he's just... And it just looked like Funk trying to climb out of this cage, but it had a roof, so it was there was no point in doing it.
Yeah, Ric Flair, Sting taking on Terry Funk and Great Muta.
Ole Anderson was with Ric Flair and Sting, and Gary Hart was with Terry Funk and Great Muta. Yeah, I remember that.
It's a batshit crazy match, but like that's what this reminded me of, and it's just
Bruno Sammartino was the special guest referee.
Yeah, and you just see, and tonight you just see Cesaro holding on like it's nothing. It's just like you hear it all the time how strong that guy is.
He is like pound for pound the strongest guy in WWE.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah,
I think John Cena was the first one to say that, and that's why the announcers started saying.
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you. Like this opener, I was like, oh, okay. And then we all know about the stipulation was Roman Reigns flexing his powers as Universal Champion. Paul Heyman said he's not going to. His contract says he has to defend it at Elimination Chamber, but he's not going to be like Drew McIntyre and defend it in the actual Chamber match. He'll wait till the winner of that match is decided, and then he'll wrestle them. So I wasn't sure if it was going to happen like back to back, like Chamber match, then Roman wrestles.
I didn't either.
Or will it be separated a little bit throughout later in the card?
Yeah.
So when the Chamber, like at the kickoff show that brought the Chamber down, I'm like, oh my god, which match is going to be in a Universal match? I'm like, oh man. So here we'll just go down through the list and maybe just kind of touch on some of the highlights of each person here. So in number 1 was Daniel Bryan. Number 2 was Cesaro. Let's see. Number 3 was King Corbin. Number 4 was Sami Zayn. Number 5 was Kevin Owens. And number 6 was Jey Uso. By the way, I love Jey Uso, how he was sitting in the pod. Like, he just got down, like, sat down.
Yeah, sat on his butt.
Like, that's smart. It's like, yeah, save your energy.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy that aspect. Tommy and I, we went to Elimination Chamber, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
At the Oakland Coliseum. And that was
2011.
And Edge was there, right?
Edge was there. John Cena.
So where we were sitting, Big Show was right in front of us, his pod.
Yeah.
And we kept yelling, hey, Captain Insano! From the water boy, and it's like, looking around. So he was gonna kick our ass, but I'm like, haha, you're stuck in that pod, you can't get us.
Yeah, after the match, John Cena walked right by us, and I gave him like a high five.
Yeah, we touched John Cena. So me and Nikki Bella have something in common now. We touched John Cena.
Wow, that's something else.
So the beginning, as far as Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, like, we got like almost like a rematch of their match from a few weeks ago on SmackDown. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. Just the back and forth, two just top of the best technical wrestlers in WWE just going at it. So I was like, oh, very cool. I love that. And then King Corbin came in at number 3. And I enjoyed King Corbin as far as what he was being used for, as far as just working on Daniel Bryan's knee. Great. As a heel, just work on Daniel Bryan, the baby face of this match. And the other thing, too, with Cesaro, what you were saying, how he's been getting kind of like pushed lately. It's really interesting. So the rumor is, whenever that big gauntlet match was in December that Shinsuke won, the rumor was Cesaro was supposed to be that baby face to get that big push there. But he wasn't going to had officially signed his new contract yet. And so that's why they changed it up and went Shinsuke down that route, and he was acting more heelish for those couple weeks. But then apparently he did sign a new deal, so now all of a sudden he's getting like a 180, and he's now being used as a babyface.
Wait. Pronouns. Who is he? Cesaro or Nakamura signed a new?
Cesaro signed a new contract. Cesaro. Okay. So now once he signed, Cesaro is now being used as like a babyface. So it's really interesting. It's like, wait a sec. I guess they dropped the whole heelish thing a few weeks later. So now he's being used as a babyface, and he had like the match, with Daniel Bryan, and the way he's been using Daniel Bryan's been losing matches, but putting guys over at the same time. So anyway, it's like for Cesaro, I think a lot of people were like, oh, he might be the favorite to win this because he's been booked really good lately, as what you just pointed out. So I like that opener, and then I like how King Corbin came in and was working on the knee. Sami Zayn at first did not want to come in.
Oh my God, he was so funny in this match.
We always have that. Every year, there's always one person who's like doesn't want to come in. It's like, no, I don't want to come in. And
no, there was a funny moment where was it Zayn? He was with Kevin Owens, and he's telling him, man, he wanted to team up with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's like he was like saying, come on, they don't want us or whatever, something like that.
We're not like their kind.
We're not like their kind. And then Kevin Owens grabbed him, and he's like, oh my God, no. Why?
So that's the thing. When Sami Zayn came in, Cesaro was like chasing him. They went on top of the pod, and then, as you said, Richard, they climbed up, and then Cesaro threw him off. He landed on his feet, and Cesaro started doing the pull-ups. Which I thought that was just awesome feat of strength right there. It was like show off. I love it. And then I was worried though. I was like, be careful, please. And then Kevin Owens came in and he started wrecking shop and going at it. It was cool. And then Jey Uso, came in last finally, and then he started just, to his credit, he started tearing it up as well, taking all these guys out, and he got a couple big eliminations though. So,
I like that super kick frog splash combo.
Yeah, oh my god, that was so cool.
There's like certain, it's nice to see when someone doesn't just hit one finisher like that. Like he could have probably won with the super kick, but he has that. It's kind of like how Nick Aldis does a really cool transition with doing a power bomb, and then he locks in the Kingsland Cloverleaf after that. And I love that combo. So him hitting the super kick and being in a perfect position to run to the corner and hit a frog splash, it's pretty impressive. Like at first I wasn't that enthralled. I was like, God. And then it's just, that's actually a pretty cool finish because he's nailing it in.
Yeah, so after King Corbin was first one eliminated, not shocking. It's like he did his job as far as beating up Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn was second eliminated after Kevin Owens pinned him. And then third eliminated was Kevin Owens. I was a little shocked by that, kind of how early on he was eliminated by Jey Uso, who took advantage of that. And then he also eliminates Cesaro. I was like shocked when Cesaro got eliminated. I was like, oh my god! And down to Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. I like the back and forth here, but then Daniel Bryan ultimately defeated Jey Uso by pinfall. I love at one point earlier Daniel Bryan I think it was Baron Corbin into the pot. Like the shot was focused on Baron Corbin or King Corbin, and Daniel Bryan comes flying out of nowhere and need him. So this match, overall, it was pretty fun as far as the intensity and stuff, and just what everyone was doing back and forth in here. Everyone fit their roles, and so, but Daniel Bryan picked up the victory, which I was kind of shocked because I was like, I thought either Kevin Owens or Cesaro were going to be the winners. I know we didn't do predictions for this one, but Daniel Bryan wins, and he just looks exhausted. He started out number one. He ran the whole gauntlet, I guess you want to call it that, for this chamber. They start lifting up the chamber, and Roman Reigns' music hits. He starts coming down, and I was like, oh my god, they're going to do this match right here. And literally, let me just double check how long. Yep, it was only 1:32. So Roman Reigns, they start the bell, beats the crap out of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan looks exhausted. I think Daniel Bryan tried to get a little offense in. Didn't work. Roman Reigns just annihilated him and won with, like you said, 1:32, which from a booking standpoint, it makes sense. Daniel Bryan started number one in the gauntlet. He's exhausted. Roman Reigns is one of the toughest guys in WWE and just destroyed him. So, Richard, were you cool with that, how that played out as far as Roman's match of the night?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, so after the match, when Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan, he is celebrating in the ring, and then boom, out of nowhere, Edge comes in, spears Roman Reigns, stands over him, shouting in his face, and then he starts pointing to the WrestleMania sign. So I guess that's his way of officially announcing that he's gonna choose Roman Reigns to challenge him for the Universal Championship at this year's WrestleMania. I thought it was a very cool moment. Then we saw the pyro, the fireworks going off, and I guess their way of celebrating that he made the official announcement there. So very cool. Edge will, I guess, go up against Roman Reigns as the main event. I would assume maybe night 2 of this year's WrestleMania. So I'm actually going to be looking forward to that matchup here. I've been loving the story that they've been telling over on SmackDown recently. So it looks like that's going to be the main event. Edge challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And yeah, he walked up the ramp just still kind of celebrating, pumped up that he speared Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was left sitting there in pain, it looked like. So good stuff, man. I love this. All right, next up was the U.S. title match. Bobby Lashley defending against Riddle and John Morrison, who got in last minute on the kickoff show. For me, I enjoyed this match as far as, and this is going back to our conversation last week.
I thought this was better than what we would have got with Keith Lee. Just because I don't
Really?
like having
Okay.
two. I don't like having two big guys against one smaller guy. Having two smaller guys against a bigger guy, I'm cool with.
Well, also remember last week we were talking about triple threats as far as the NXT women's match at TakeOver last week. How I think a lot of triple threats always end up being one person outside, just like quote like recovering, while two people go at it in the ring. So I like how this match, it was all three of them going at it a good portion of this match inside the ring. I'm like, sometimes the two were teaming up against one, or all three were hitting each other as well. So I was like, all right, this actually seems like a legit triple threat match from the storytelling aspect. And then, but yeah, Bobby Lashley, as I mentioned earlier, has been booked very strong in this match. I love how he's just beating the crap out of him. Morrison and Riddle were trying to do whatever they can. Ultimately, the finish, I was like, Matt Riddle, to his credit, I know he's being booked as more of the goofy, jokey guy, but he kind of used some common sense, and he took advantage of the rule where it's a triple threat match. There's no DQ, and so MVP, who got hurt unfortunately from Raw this week, like a legit injury, he came out with the crutch and Riddle used the crutch and smashed it against Bobby Lashley's back. Bobby Lashley falls outside, and he already had the hurt lock on John Morrison. So John Morrison was already knocked out. And so Riddle took advantage of that and hit his finisher on John Morrison and picked up the victory, and is now the new U.S. champion. So cool, I guess. Finally, people online were like, oh, he won his first WWE championship. Well, he technically won the NXT tag title, so this
Doesn't count.
It doesn't count kayfabe on the main roster. So, yeah, Richard, your thoughts on Riddle now starting a new title reign as the U.S. champion?
Totally cool with it.
Cool, awesome. Tommy, about yourself? I know you're a big Riddle fan.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for him. I mean, it's just it was just the way they set it up for him to get the victory. It was just perfectly timed, I thought.
Yeah. And then next up, a very last minute match was Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler defending the women's tag titles against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, which kind of came together based on SmackDown this week. And Richard, as you said, you just really thought this was more of like something you would see on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as just, they were doing their thing.
Yeah, it was a fine match. It just didn't feel like an epic pay-per-view match.
Yeah. I mean, all four of them, well, maybe not Nia, but all three of them were like really good wrestlers and did their thing. I think a lot of people were upset, like Sasha and Bianca are working together, where a lot of people are thinking that Bianca's going to be the one, she's going to challenge Sasha after winning the Rumble match at Mania. So a lot of people are like, well, shouldn't they be more like against each other right now? It's like, well, relax. You got 7 weeks, almost a little under 2 months until WrestleMania. So there's a lot of story to tell how they can like be friends at first, but then eventually grow apart and hate each other and lead up to a match at Mania. But the big thing, Reginald, who has a crush on Sasha Banks, offered some champagne before the match in her dressing room, but then said he brings it out and he's trying to give it to Sasha Banks, and he rolls it in. Sasha's like, wait, I'm not going to use this. Gets distracted. Nia comes in and just...
Yeah, it was a cheap distraction. I thought.
Samoan drop. I was kind of worried how they're going to book this, because you got Bianca Belair, who is the Royal Rumble winner. You got Sasha Banks, who's the SmackDown Women's Champion. How are you going to lose here? But yes, Sasha ate the pin against Nia Jax, a Samoan drop. So I guess it makes sense, because technically she was distracted. So now Reginald... unfortunately, I want Reginald to get the girl at the end, but unfortunately he's already pissing her off. So we'll see the fallout, I'm sure, on SmackDown. I'm sure Sasha and Bianca will be like, get away from us. You're bad luck. And I wonder if Carmella will get in the mix somehow as well. So anyway, decent match for what it was. And then next up was the main event. It was the second Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. So Drew McIntyre was defending against Styles with Omos, which his role was pretty cool. Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Kofi Kingston. So first entered was Jeff Hardy. Second entered was Randy Orton. Which is cool, kind of a little bit reigniting their rivalry. Remember they had like a thing a couple years ago with the Hell in the Cell with the screwdriver in the ear. So, but yeah, Richard, your thoughts on this Elimination Chamber match here?
This felt like a main event.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was a way. Like, I think it was somewhat surprising that Randy Orton's the first one that got eliminated, and I was even more surprised by the fact that there was nothing with the Fiend.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, because like the Gauntlet match on Raw this week, we saw the Alexa Bliss photos all over the place on the Thunderdome screen. Yeah, so I really thought Randy was going to get eliminated by way of Alexa Bliss or the Fiend involvement, but yeah, nothing there. So I was like, oh wow. So, easy night for him as far as first eliminated. He was able to go back into the locker room. Third entered was Drew McIntyre. And then once I think he entered, I felt like the intensity started picking up a little bit more. He just was going at just slugging people.
Being a wreck house.
And then, let's see. It says here Sheamus was, let's see. Oops, I'm reading this wrong. Kofi Kingston was fourth entered. And then AJ Styles, number 5.
With a little help from Alma.
Yeah. So, Richard, I want to ask you. So, as Randy got eliminated, RKO, a couple of the guys, Kofi and Jeff Hardy, he's walking out. And AJ's like, get me out, almost, get me out, get me out. He rips the pod apart.
Yeah.
AJ gets out.
It's like plexiglass.
Runs around and enters. Now, I was from a strategy standpoint, part of me is like, okay, you want to go in there where those two guys are knocked out off the RKO and try to pin them, eliminate them. But then at the same time, the Gauntlet match this past week on Raw was to be the last person into Elimination Chamber. So you would think he would want to stay in his pod as long as he can, let those guys beat each other up, and then if he enter second to last, at least everyone would be more beat up and tired. So I was really kind of confused from a strategy standpoint why we wanted to get in so quick, but I guess he wanted to try to pin those guys after taking each an RKO. Does that make sense, I guess, from his strategy at that point?
Yeah. I mean, look, he's looking at it like they're down, they're out, they're knocked out. I mean, we saw Randy Orton kill a man recently with
and
that.
Pooped his pants.
And well, it wasn't poop; it was seepage. So I think AJ's looking at it like, oh my God, they're both dead now. I better go pin them. He snapped their necks like chickens.
And so Adam Pearce comes out. It's like, oh, there he is, finally. And then Adam Pearce throws Omos.
He ejected him.
Yeah, threw him out. It's like, get out of here. So I was like, oh, there he is, finally, laying the law down. And then, so AJ's just into the match then at that point. And then who else came in after that? So AJ came in. Then Sheamus was last to enter. Mm-hmm. And then when he came in, him and Drew, dude, hard hitting punches, like hockey style fighting there. I loved it.
Yeah.
Dude, like two big hosses going at it. So Rich, I'm with you. It's like, as far as Sheamus and Drew, like their chemistry together is so good as far as just beating the crap out of each other. But then, so let's see. Randy Orton was eliminated. Kofi then got eliminated second. He took the bro kick from Sheamus. Jeff Hardy got eliminated from Drew McIntyre, hit the Claymore. So, and then Sheamus got eliminated from AJ Styles because he, if I remember, Jeff Hardy hit the Swanton.
Yeah.
And then AJ hit was it the 450? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, he did that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like he took advantage of Jeff Hardy hitting a move on Sheamus and was able to eliminate Sheamus. So AJ Styles took advantage of that. And then, so then it was down to, AJ and Drew McIntyre. And then Tommy, as you said, great finish. AJ was trying to do the phenomenal forearm, jumped off the rope. Drew hit him with the Claymore in the
midair.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And picked up the victory.
I like the finish of that one.
Yeah. How'd you think of the finish of this chamber played out, Richard?
I liked it a lot because I was expecting AJ to win, and it looked like he was about to. And then he gets that super Claymore.
Yeah.
That was so high.
Yeah. It was great. So Drew McIntyre just like awesome.
I mean, Drew McIntyre looked like he was doing the like in the Olympics. Was it the high jump? Yeah, in the Olympics. That's what it reminded me of.
He should represent Scotland in the next set of Olympics. Yeah. So no, it was really good. I really enjoyed the finish though. And then as we discussed, Bobby Lashley comes out, beats him up. Miz comes out, and Miz, he was seen throughout the night. He got involved with I was called Bugs Bunny. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Got slapped by Bad Bunny, who's the current 24/7 champion. Which, by the way, he was on SNL last night and had the 24/7 championship on him. I was like, oh, dude, WWE probably loved the extra publicity.
Well, yeah, they're sister networks, USA Network and
NBC.
NBC.
Yeah.
And Peacock. It's all one happy family right there.
Exactly. And so, and then, Miz wins, beats Drew McIntyre. He's the new champion. So we'll see how Raw is tomorrow night and how the show's going to play out and how they're going to start building up the storylines.
We got a Damian Priest cameo, too, as well. Yeah.
Apparently, rumor is he's really well liked backstage. So
that's good.
I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe him and I was going to say Bugs Bunny again. Bad Bunny team up. It's something get the celebrity involvement for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
so
that could work.
Yeah, overall, man, I had ups and downs in this show, but can't complain too much because we are on the road to WrestleMania. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Hopefully in February and March for us to tune in and talk about. So. All right, so let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. As always, Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling 101 and send your hate mail to at BabyHuey83 on Instagram and Twitter. My Twitter account is BabyHuey83. Please send negative feedback to me there. Whatever you can, use the most foul language you can. Just make sure you hashtag In The Kliq when you do it.
Hope you're happy now. Damn you, Richard.
Me?
Yes, you. Tommy, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
I don't know how you can be
top that
exactly.
Jeez.
I know, but you could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official. And as Richard stated multiple times throughout this podcast, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq, also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google, Stitcher. We're all over the place. InTheKliq@gmail.com and get the merch over at Teespring. All right.
I thought it was something different now.
something. I think it's called like Spring Creators or something. I forgot what it's called.
What a stupid name.
I don't know.
Told you to go to Pro Wrestling Tees, but no.
Well, there's another one with Collar and Elbow. It's another website everyone's using.
That's
now.
Al Snow's.
Is that what that is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because everyone's like talking about this new website for wrestling merch now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that out as well.
I heard about it. Yeah.
So, all right, on that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line because Huey said so.